welcome to the Rock Trading Communities video, and in this video we'll be talking about a pattern called the bag holding pattern and volume spread analysis. So first let's understand what is bag holding. Bag holding is a method used by the smart money to overcome the supply created based on the fundamental news by holding the positions until demand is being built in the markets. Bag holding usually occurs when there is a negative news in the market, and this occurs rarely, and it is also considered as one of the strongest signal of strength. First, you have to understand what is bag holding. So simple, whenever there is a negative news in the markets, you can see bag holding. And what are the conditions of bag holding is something that we're going to discuss right now. It has to be a narrow spread down bar with an ultra high volume or volume more than average. Okay, and second thing, bag holding should occur on a fresh new low ground. In simple, it has to be a proper downtrend. Whenever there's a proper downtrend, you can see if you are seeing a bag holding, then that is valid. So what happens in a bag holding is something, let's understand that with the help of a particular diagram right now. So now think about it. Let's assume market is in a downtrend right now. Okay, and suddenly what happens is there is a negative news in the markets. Okay, and if there is a negative news, let's assume you're a particular investor out there, or any other, let's say there are thousands of investors out there, right? So they might have invested in Nifty 50, Nifty 100, it doesn't matter, it's an Indian stock, it could be an American stock, it could be anything. So if there is any negative news against the company, or if there is a global market index, if there is a news in the global sentiments and so on, might affect, and at the same time you can see there is a huge gap down in the markets. You can see a gap ups and a gap downs in the markets. We're talking about gap downs right now. Whenever there's a gap down in the market, obviously it is might considered as one of the negative news and so on. It is affecting the markets. So all the retail investors, they rush to the market to sell that particular stock right there. So if there is a negative news, because they know that markets, the value of that particular stock will reduce right there. So obviously you can see a huge gap down right here. Whenever you see a gap down, this particular phase where you can see the bag holding pattern. So bag holding has to be a narrow spread down bar, and the closing has to be around 50% or above the 50% levels, and it has to be a ultra high volume compared more than average volume, right? So this is the concept of bag holding. There has to be more than average volume or a ultra high volume. This is the concept of bag holding and so on. Okay, so usually when the bag holding occurs right here, so this is where the smart money enters right here. The smart money knows that here a lot of retail investors out there, they have created the sell orders and market is drastically falling down right here, but they're not going to let the price to go below from these particular levels. So what happens right here, they might create a small test right here to check whether there are supply below the bag holding pattern, and usually what happens, market starts holding a little bit around these particular levels, right? Market starts holding a little bit around these particular levels, and you can see a really good up move from these levels. That's something which can be possible, and later on, once the test has been completed, you might see a really good up bar right here, and based on that, market might create a higher highs from these particular levels. So the supply has been created right here based on the fundamental news. There are huge number of sell orders, and based on that you got a gap down right here. So now they have to overcome this entire supply, and they have to create demand right here. So they're going to hold the entire stock in a certain range right here. So this is what the bag holding is all about. They're going to hold the entire stock in a particular range, and once they overcome the entire supply, they're going to kick out all the sellers right here, and buyers are going to enter right here. They're going to create a positions right here, and markets will create a higher highs right here. So this is the concept of bag holding right here. So if you understand this properly, sometimes what happens is even after creating a narrow spread down bar, market might go down from these levels, but this level is even very important actually. But when market comes to these levels, they will react to these levels, or what you can actually expect, if market crosses these levels even after creating a lower lows, market will react to from these levels, and they will create a higher highs right here. So this particular scenarios might occur in the markets. So let's understand this in the practical examples right now. So now as I told you, let's understand this with examples. So now here, as you can see, there is a bag holding concept right here. So it's a, what is the concept of bag holding? It has to be a narrow spread down bar, right? Narrow spread, and closing has to be around 50% or more than 50%. It looks like a stopping volume, but it's around stopping volume and bag holding. You can consider stopping volume has to be a wide spread bar, just like this. But this is narrow spread bar. Compare the spread right here. It's a wide spread and it's a narrow spread. So it has to be a narrow spread bar. And what happens is smart money started to hold these particular levels right here. So once they started holding these levels, obviously market would have created a higher highs right here, right? So market should have created a higher highs right here. That is the overall concept of a bag holding. But I already told you one more scenario where it occurs that market might go down right here. But what happens at this particular phase? And why do you think bag holding even occurs in the markets? So this particular stock right here is Sun Pharma, right? Let's understand why bag holding occurred right here. So as you can see, there was a news in Sun Pharma actually. So that's the reason bag holding occurred. So as you can see, that Sun Pharma around 29th November. So obviously it was going on a complete downtrend, and obviously there was one negative news where SEBI planned to reopen the insider trading case, and obviously with this particular reasons, market had obviously created a lower lows right here, and it had created a gap down right there. So this is a December 2nd, and this is a December 3rd actually. Okay, so this is December 3rd and so on. And look what happened in the stock right here. So the 4-hour time frame, this is a December 3rd, around December 3rd and December 2nd and so on. And market completely went for a gap down right here. So even after creating an enormous supply right here, market still went down right here. But look what happened carefully after that particular point. There is a bag holding concept. There was a gap right here. Market went down and market started reacting the same bag holding area actually. So this particular area where smart money tried to build their positions. So that's the reason market is reacting again to the same area. As you can see right here, market is reacting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or literally like n number of times right here. Market is reacting to the same bag holding area again and again every single time right there. So you have to understand the market like this. So once they created a gap down, market was not able to cross these levels, and once they have created an enormous cause right here, right? They have created an enormous cause right here. So after cause, effect should occur right there. So you have learned this in the law of cause versus effect. Whenever there's a cause, you should get an effect, and once the effect has been completed, you're going to get a cause again, and same thing. This cycle continues again and again. So they have created an enormous cause right here. Once the cause has been created, market should go up right here. But before that, you have to understand what's happening in this particular chart right here. As you can see, you got a bag holding concept right here. The smart money knows that this was a bag holding concept. All these retail traders out there, they have created their sell orders right here. Obviously they are on a particular, they are losing their positions right here again and again. So what's happening right here? So every single time the smart money is trying to test the levels again and again on the lower lows right here. See what happened? Market came down, went up, tested the bag holding concept, again came down, tested below the lower lows right here. They test back, suddenly there is a spring right here, right? Suddenly there's a spring and market started, went up, they filled the gap right here. Again market came down. What happened? They tested below these levels and there were no sellers, and again you got a sudden rejection right here. Again market is going up, tested the bag holding pattern right here. Again market is starting holding. They created a cause right here. So the phase B is completed according to Wyckoff schematics, and then what happened? You got a spring phase right here. What is the spring phase? They tested below these particular levels again. So they are testing the levels again and again and again and again. And once they get a confirmation, look what happened right here. They got a breakdown. Okay. So they broke the above levels with a proper jack phase right here. It's not a proper jack. I can't consider it as a jack, because jack is something that it has to be a one particular bar with a ultra high volume. That's what a jack is all about. But this is not a jack. But what you can actually consider is they have crossed these particular levels. They have crossed these particular levels. That's the reason they are here. They went above these levels and they tested the area right here. They tested the bag holding area right here. See, that was the final test for the smart money right here. And look what happened. This was a final test. Once the test has been completed, this is the amount of momentum they got after that. So this is where the bag holding occurred. Once the test has been completed, look how much momentum they got it. So literally from 461 to around 900 rupees. This is the one of the biggest momentum ever. Actually, I was very happy that I found this particular example right here. I know that this is a failed bag holding setup actually, but this is how you have to observe the market. Just because it failed doesn't mean that it doesn't hold any value. It holds a value. Just mark the levels, understand what's happening in the market, and based on that, you got a proper observation in terms of market. So there's one more concept right here. See, ITC and market was overall on a downtrend right here. There was some global fundamental news like say Russia-Ukraine war, everything was going on. So there was a huge gap down right here. But bag holding occurs usually on a particular support actually. So if this occurs usually on a support, it is also one more plus point where you can actually consider a reversal from that particular point. So see what happened right here. You got a bag holding, a small white spread bar with a ultra more than an average volume obviously, and market started creating a higher highs right here. So there was a strong support, and based on this, market created a higher highs from the same levels. So this is Tata Consultancy Services, and again, market was overall on a downtrend. This is the Nifty chart. This is the 24th February actually. So as you can see, Nifty was on a gap down and market was going on a lower lows right here. So Nifty 15-minute time frame. Just to compare this, I just added the Nifty chart right here. So even TCS was also on a major support right here. Okay, TCS was also on a major support, and exactly on that particular support, you got a bag holding concept. And based on this, as you can see, it's a narrow spread bar. Sorry. It's a narrow spread bar and closing, and once the test has been completed, market went up towards the higher highs, and obviously market went towards the higher highs. And look what happened right here. Market has created a good move towards the higher highs right here, but eventually market came down right here. But one thing you have to observe every single time, even after creating a bag holding concept, market is reacting to the same levels again and again, right? So market is creating the same levels again and again. And if you're a person who already have a TCS stock in their particular portfolio, these levels are very important. The numbers are already marked right here. Make sure you draw this level properly and observe the entire area. They will definitely react to these levels here no matter what. If they cross these levels, definitely can expect a really good momentum towards the higher highs. And this is something that you can actually observe very carefully in the markets. I don't know whether I have explained it in a very detailed way, but I think I have given you an idea what bag holding is all about. And if you want one more video regarding bag holding, I can make a video of bag holding. I tried to explain in a very simpler and easier manner what bag holding is all about. So that's it for this video. Thank you so much. We'll see you in the next videos, and please like, share and subscribe. And there's a lot of surprises and a lot of new things that's coming to the YouTube channel, and I'll be releasing a lot of new amazing things so that it can actually help you in your trading journey and so on. So that's one thing I can request from every one of you, to actually share with your trading friends and subscribe. If the channel increases, it improvises my confidence, and I'll be making more and more content like this for you guys. And that's it for this video. Thank you so much. We'll see you in the next videos. Goodbye.